Good evening, everyone. Crypto Bull Ron here. You know what? Looks like my mouse running a little slow, so I'll put my picture down here in the bottom. Hey, I know it's probably a crazy time to be talking about obscure meme coins right now with the market being down. In fact, right now, let's look here. Bitcoin around 72,000, and people are very scared. Um, and so it's probably not the time. Most people are talking about some of these hidden gems. But what I will tell you, the most money I made was in bear markets when no one was paying attention. Everyone even thought Bitcoin was going to fail. They certainly weren't looking down the risk curve. And I think there's some good projects just for education. So those you are on, I've been in Bitcoin mining, been in Bitcoin since 2011, full time since late 2016, early 17. I do run a crypto venture fund for my full time job. So I do this full time. Been running spaces, a morning show about Bitcoin and crypto. I've been running that for 4 years, and so here on YouTube, Rumble, and X, it's at Crypto Bull Ron. So I will update the everything later. Let me look here and just make sure that I'm coming up live on X real quick, and we'll get going here. It looks like I'm live. I will update the. Yep. Everything later. Looks like I'm live on X. So, anyway, if you like this kind of content, please like, comment, and follow me if you aren't already. I have a lot of followers on X because I've been there for 10 years, but I don't. I'm just new to YouTube and Rumble, but I'm not new to crypto. Prior to crypto, I did started an early .com company and took that public a couple weeks before took that public a couple weeks before. I don't know if my face is syncing up in time, so I'm gonna lose my picture down here. Just go to the screen so it's not a distraction. Anyway, if you want to jump on and say hello, or drop any comments or ask any questions, the software I'm using should allow. Well, we're live here. Should allow me to should allow me to see should allow me to see those. So feel free. But anyway, um, yeah, like I say, now I'm primarily buying Bitcoin, a little Ethereum, and a little Solana. I'm not really. I'm telling everyone buy quality, right? But I at least want to make you aware when things come back. You know, maybe there's some tokens out there you need to do your own research, and always do your own research. I've been in crypto full time now. I've been here for 15 years, full time for 10, but everyone's situation is different. I'm not a financial advisor. You really shouldn't trust anyone online. Just listen, learn, and do your own research, because your situation's different. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you some education. Mainly, what I do, I have a morning. I have two morning shows. One here on YouTube, X live stream, and Rumble. It's called Daily Opening Bell Crypto. It's about 9 a.m. to 10, a little before 10 a.m. I break down kind of how the macro stuff and the news that you've missed over the night. Okay. And then at 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., I have the GM Bitcoin morning show that I've been running. It's the space has been running that for coming on 4 years. Got a few co-hosts, great show. Please feel free to join me on any of those. And then I'm just going to be making random content here and there. But what I want to talk to you today is about Landwolf. And what I will say is these coins follow a pattern, right? You have to have, it starts with Bitcoin. When Bitcoin runs, kind of levels out, then Ethereum runs. Okay. When it kind of levels out, then you might see some of the other, other L1s and things start to run. And then eventually you'll see the meme coins run. And primarily the one we'll talk about here is Pepe the Frog, same creator in the real IRL, same creator as Landwolf, and Pepe, a behemoth of a meme coin that went from nothing to $12 billion a few years ago. Now, to me, it's one of my favorite meme coins, especially for this next bull run. He's hit 12 billion. It's sitting about 1.7 billion today. But until Bitcoin runs and until Ethereum runs, and then until Pepe runs, don't necessarily expect Wolf to run, okay? Which is Land Wolf on Ethereum. There's many of them out there. Don't be fooled. I'll show you the proper one, and there's a bunch of them out there. As you often find with meme coins, there's usually a lot of them out there, and sometimes it takes a few to even catch on. So welcome everyone listening live. I see quite a few people on X follow me live. So good evening, good evening. Hard times in crypto these days, so it's a little off the beaten path to be talking about hidden gems out here. But in my opinion, you need to at least start educating yourself. Doesn't mean you need to buy these now, but just keep an eye on them and do your own research. But this is one that I think special. Pepe is one of my favorite meme coins. I was early to Doge. I was early to SHIB. I was early to a lot of them because I've been here so long. Made a lot of money on a lot of those meme coins. My favorite one right now is Pepe. So, and this is kind of Pepe is a beta play on Ethereum, and I think this is a beta play on that as well. So let's get back into the so there was a comic. It was a comic called in fact, I'm going to mute this, play a few seconds of it. YouTube doesn't like you. You know, this is just a trailer for the documentary, which I'm going to show you in a minute. It's called Feel Good Man. And basically Matt Fury, he did a comic book called The Boys Club. And as part of that, you know, there was four friends in the Boys Club. There was Pepe the Frog, who's obviously the most famous. There was Andy, who's kind of a yellow dog. And there's Land Wolf, and there's Brett. So the four friends, kind of college kids living together, didn't have jobs, just doing their thing. So as you see at the top of this comic, Pepe goes in there and takes a leak, and he drops his pants all the way to the floor. And then Andy happens to see him. He's like, whoops. And then later that day, Land Wolf says to him, hey, Pepe, I heard you pull your pants down all the way to go pee. And he said, feels good, man. That's the beginning of how it really took off, the feels good man part of it. And we'll just watch a couple of seconds of this. Talking about when he's a little kid, you know, he noticed some of his friends would drop their pants all the way down, and that's kind of how it kind of came about. And but this phrase feels good man started popping up and kind of went viral. That's all we're going to do. I don't want to get a strike from YouTube, but it kind of went viral, right? And started using it, posting it for different things, like crazy things, like, you know, something like, you know, who knows, maybe someone wrecked on their mountain bike or on their motorcycle or in their car, something would type feels good, man. Or they'd be on a giant wave, you know, 100-foot wave, and they put feels good, man. It just kind of took over all over the place. And there was a documentary made about it in 2020. I'll just read it to you so you know the history. Feels Good Man is a 2020 documentary directed by Arthur J. Chronicles the journey of Pepe series Boys Club. Conceived as a laid-back, goofy amphibian, college slacker friends, Pepe after a single panel featuring Pepe with his pants down saying feels good, man, was shared online. The film explores how the meme was co-opted by extremist groups, particularly the alt-right and white supremacists, transforming Pepe into a symbol of hate, leading the Anti-Defamation League to classify it as a hate symbol. The documentary follows Fury's emotional and legal struggles to reclaim his creation, highlighting the power and unpredictability of internet culture. It premiered at the Sundance Film Festival, not far from my house. where it won the U.S. Documentary Special Jury Award for Emerging Filmmaker. Film blends interviews, archival footage, and animated sequences based on Fury's original work to examine how an innocent meme can be hijacked and whether it'll ever be reclaimed for positive. And I think it's been very much turned into a positive thing, to be honest with you, since then. And this is Fury from the Boys Club. There's Land Wolf right there. I guess I didn't want to use it for fear of copyright violations. And Mad Fury hasn't backed any of these tokens, though he's been pretty cool about it. He doesn't seem to have gone after anybody. Some people like from Pepe sent him some money. I think some coins. I think he sold them for like when it was low, like sub 500 million market cap, and sold it and made $500,000 or so. But obviously it could have been millions and millions if he had held it, but I don't think he understood it, but he was cool about it, and he's been pretty cool about it. But like I say, he does not condone or back any of these projects. But in Wikipedia, let's just read him out, Mount Fury, so you know who he is. Like I say, you watch that documentary, feels good, man. It'll tell you a lot about it. Anyway, born in 1979, he's an artist, illustrator. He's known for creating Pepe the Frog, Boys Club series, became a popular internet meme in the late 2000s, early 2010. So anyways, from Columbus, Ohio, and he published children's books and a lot of different stuff. He's got some really, really cool stuff. And I'll tell you this, most people I know that are in these coins, a lot of them are huge Matt Fury fans. A lot of them buy a lot of his other works, heads and things like that. So, but it is important to understand that. If you've been around, of course, you know about Pepe the Frog and what it did. I got into Pepe the Frog at $24 million. So I sold it on the first run at about almost 1.9 million. Or no, 1.9 billion, excuse me. So I had quite a run there, took some money, and my wife and I took a trip around the world, had some fun. A lot of people made life-changing wealth, and I would have if I had have put more into it. But at the time, I just loaned a friend like $6,000. He hadn't paid me back. So my normal kind of Degen money, I didn't have it. So I didn't put in as much as I would have liked to, but I did great. Took some profits, had fun. And then I bought back at about 300 million and up to about 600 million, and then ran that to up to 10 billion. So did really well with it. And now I'm getting ready to buy back some more. I have a little bit, but I'm getting ready to buy back quite a bit more. So Pepe the Frog, like I say, is my favorite thing. So now let's talk about Land Wolf over here. So in order to understand this, you did need to understand ETH. You did need to understand a lot of memes these days are on Solana and some other chains now, but they started out, a lot of them on ETH, and sometimes they're better on ETH. Maybe people hold a little longer and stuff, but there's some significant ones on Solana as well, and starting to be some other chains. But this is Land Wolf on ETH. I'm looking at the Crypto Bubbles here, which is a free app you can download for your phone or whatnot. I like it because I can see a visual of what's happening, right? But anyway, this you can see is at 8.19 million market cap. It's down 6% today, which is nothing because everything's down. It's for the year, it's down 83.1%. And there's so many zeros here, it's hard to tell. But when you click on the yearly chart, you can see how high it went. It was over 200 million, okay, at one time. So had a big dip. It ran up to like 120 million, dropped down to like 15 million, ran up again, dropped down again, ran up again, and dropped down again. And that's just kind of with everything else, right? Not so much anything to do with itself. But I want to tell you kind of why I think this is special. Okay, first thing is there's a lot of these Wolf tokens, Land Wolf. There's a lot of copycats. There's a lot on other chains, and I'm speaking specifically about the one on ETH. So first off, just realize there's a lot of them, right? So first thing I do is go to their Twitter, official Twitter. It's Landwolf 0x67, which is interesting because I guess originally the contract ended in 6.7. Now it ends in 6.9, but If you look under Land Wolf, you'll see they've got 24,000 followers. Under the website, you've got landwolf.com. Now that's significant. I kind of helped them negotiate through some other big holders and a friend that was very big time in the .com negotiated, and it was a healthy sum. I don't remember what it was. I want to say it was like I think it was like 42,000 or something. Because I remember it was close, something to do with 420. So I think it was like 42,000, if I'm not mistaken. So, but they wanted to differentiate themselves, right? So the first thing I'm going to tell you is the holders of Land Wolf are very, very serious. They're very serious about it, and they've held a lot of them up to multi-millions of dollars of, and they believe that this could be a potentially $1 billion or $2 billion token if we get the right conditions. So it has a lot of very, very loyal holders. And the fact that they were able to spend what happened, kind of tell you my interpretation of it. And like I say, it's late at night where I am, so I couldn't really get anyone on from the community or whatnot, but I'll do my best at telling you about it. When it first came out, a guy who was a big fan, did really well in Pepe, big fan of Matt Fury. His name's Keck on Twitter. He bought a bunch, right? Just bought on crazy, when it was worth nothing. He bought threw a couple grand down and ended up with like half of the supply. So then, he liked it, saw it was good. The dev kind of fell away. So what he did is he took half of what it had a little bit of a run. I don't remember 5-10 million or something like that, but he took half of his tokens and gave them back to the community and built up a treasury, which at one point ran up to, I think, $6-10 million, maybe more. So they have had some money to do a few things. One of those was to buy landwolf.com, and they wanted to differentiate themselves. So here's their official links. Landwolf.com, Telegram, Reddit, Landwolf app. I just downloaded the Landwolf app, and I was playing with it. Let me pull it up here. Downloaded it for iOS on my Apple phone, and I got on there, and there's different things you can do. There's a PFP generator. There's a bunch of memes. There's 397 memes you can pull from, right, if you want to help promote it. There's a game on there called Flap. Then on the Wolfpack, it has all its links. And I think there's a thing you can chat with Landwolf, like an AI chat bot if you want. So there's their Telegram, X, TikTok, and Reddit on there. And anyway, cool thing. Once again, shows you that they're just not fly by night. People are very much committed to that. And I think this swap.landwolf.com, you can go on there and swap directly, bypassing any exchanges or anything like that. So it's a direct way to buy Landwolf. And so that's kind of cool. Here's a contract address. Also, recently they went on Base. Base is a layer 2 on Solana, on Ethereum, and it's owned by Coinbase. So they're now multi-chain. So you can, if you're big into Base or have money over there, you can trade it over there. Here's the ETH contract. Very, very important that you use the right one. Another thing you can do is go right to landwolf.com. Go to landwolf.com. There's the contract address again. Buy on Wolf Swap, earn with Wolf. I'm not sure what that is. But anyway, it tells you a little bit about it. And, he's the degen. The reason so many of us kind of relate to him is he's the degen of the group. He's the one that's always smoking dope and having fun and doing crazy stuff. So that's why I think he kind of really connects with everybody, right? But so it's a great meme. The memetics or the meme value is just about as good as you can get, right? Because you have Pepe, which is kind of one of the best memes ever. And now you have his best friend, Landwolf. Also on there, his other friends are Andy. Andy is also a great token that you can buy. I don't know what the market cap is. It's always pretty close, but all of them have good volume and whatnot. So Andy, and then there's Brett. The biggest Brett that I know of is on over on Base. That's done really well too. I own all of them, and I don't know if there's a Brett on ETH or whatever. For me personally, Andy is on ETH, and there's probably a Brett on ETH. For me personally, I own the Brett. I don't own the Brett on ETH. I own the Brett on over on base. So it's also done well. I think it's got up into the billion or 2 billion at one point. Yeah, so Andy, Landwolf, but we're talking about Landwolf here. I may do the future story about those as well. But once you have the address, you can come up here. Now, one of the things is that treasury, right? I came over here into Etherscan and I typed in wolfbank.eth. Wolfbank.eth. And if I'm not mistaken, if you know what an ENS, Ethereum name service, you're able to take a 64-digit alphanumeric code there, an address, and you're able to put them on into an actual something you can read, human readable address, and that's it. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, wolfbank.eth is the treasury of the company, and that was donated by Keck and maybe other people since then. But in there's 12,651,000 Landwolf worth $116,000. Now realize I put on the thing 30x because that's what it was at all-time high. So if it goes back to all-time high times this, there's $156,000 in here. Go 30x, and that becomes just shy of $4 million. Pepe as well. There's $33,000 worth of Pepe, which Pepe is now 1.7 billion, and it was, I think, 12 billion at one point. And there's Andy as well, showing their support for Andy. I don't know what this bread is. I assume that's bread on ETH, but I don't know. There's just a token amount in there. But Andy, there's a significant amount. Once again, if you 30x Andy, you'll see that was a significant, I was like 150,000 at one point. Once again, they've had some money to do a few things, and they have money to do things. Another thing that's very impressive to me is if you go over to Landwolf here, let's say on CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko, there, once again, another place you can get it. But let me just show you how crazy it is. If you type in Wolf, there's all these, there's Landwolf, and so there's a bunch of them. So that's why it's good to go and make sure you get the right contract address from the X account or from the landwolf.com, and there you can get it right there at the top, right there. So once you have the right one, then you look here, and you can see different information about it. You can see all-time highs, and we're down 97% almost from all-time high, but we're still up 224%, 3 times from the low when they started tracking it. But let me just show you this as something very impressive and something you don't find with many meme coins, especially at this market cap. I want you to look at this. Of course, Uniswap, that's a given. That's a decentralized exchange. Anyone can create it there. But look here, Gate.io, a tier 1 exchange. Mexi, I don't know if they're tier 2, tier 3, but they have huge trading volume. BingX, big in Europe. Bitmart, LBank, XT, UZX, BTSE, Blowfin. Blowfin's one of the bigger of the perps exchanges. That's one I use quite a bit. And there's even more. If you go down, there's Blowfin again, different pair. Pionex, another big exchange. DigiFinex, Change Now, a really good place to change stuff. Another Uniswap, Bilaxy, GrooveX. Let's see, getting less notable, but Poloniex, CoinX, Pancake Swap. So there must be some kind of bridged over, but that is very serious, right? And I'll tell you this, it pops back pretty well, right? I'll tell you this, when we had this last run about 3 weeks ago, Bitcoin got up and tested like what, 97, 98? At that time, on that run, Pepe went from 1.5 billion to 3 billion. Wolf, our Landwolf, went from about 5 to 700 million, or 7 million to over 15 million. So let me just see if I can show you that here. If you look, let's look at the month. So, okay, so we had that. Basically, we were down around, we were down around 7 million or whatever, piked all the way up to around 60. It's hard because it's showing us so many different things here. But basically, it responded, and I like to watch that. I like to see how a coin responds in bad markets. I watch it. I watch how far it goes down, and then I watch it. How it reacts, and I'll tell you, I don't even bother looking unless Ethereum's doing something, Pepe's doing something. Then I'll look. I don't ever look otherwise. And so, but it performed very well. So I fully anticipate if Pepe gets back to all-time high and Ethereum gets back to all-time high, I fully believe this is one that could come back. Once again, they have a big treasury. They're on about 16 exchanges, centralized exchanges. If you look over here on Dex, people look at Dex screen or whatever. If you look over here, you can see we've got 15,775 holders. That's just people who use DEXs. That's wallet who use DEXs. That doesn't anticipate all the people being held on centralized exchanges. So, that's impressive. Here it is. This is just the direct link I clicked off the website or the X. I clicked on this. The same thing. It's shows you the thing there. It shows you the contract address and whatever. And like I say, I would just say for everybody, go click on these links or go to landwolf.com. Like I say, that's not something that very many meme coins have. A $42,000 .com in the real world, right? That's very impressive, and it's easy to make sure you get the right address and things like that. Also being listed on 16 exchanges, some of them pretty major. It just does good volume, and like I say, good holders. They've got a bank there. It's a great meme. It's very much established itself. I don't think it's going away. Very committed holders. What I would say is it's something worth keeping your eye on, and it's something that you may want to start nibbling at or just keep an eye on. Like I say, it's not going to do anything until Ethereum pops back, and it's always a sequence of Bitcoin, Ethereum. Not always, but usually. What do they say? History doesn't repeat itself, but it usually rhymes. So I will say when Bitcoin goes up, Ethereum will go up, Pepe will go up, and Landwolf, and maybe right on line with it. So I would say jump on. They've got, like I say, over here you can see they've got a Telegram, they've got a Reddit, TikTok, whatever, but probably Telegrams where you can get a lot of alpha if you have questions, want to learn more. I will say I personally know a lot of the top holders who I've known years before this, and I tell you they're huge Matt Fury fans, and that's how they were able to find this, and they've been very dedicated, and they've literally held millions and millions of dollars down to this. And then they did a few times. The first time it went up to 120, 130, 140, whatever million, came back down. They bought a bunch. They bought a bunch at 15 million, and then it went all the way back up to I think 220, 240, whatever. And then it came back down again, and then it's back up a little bit, and now it's about 60, 80 million, and now it's back down. So I think it's very much echoes the market. I do think it's somewhere you could throw a few $100s at and see what happens, right? Very possible for it to 30x and get back to all-time high, and maybe much more than that. I do not think it's going away based on what I know and I see here. I just think it's different. When you look, this is ranked 933. Okay. Crypto Bubbles only keeps track of 1,000. So if it went down anymore, we wouldn't even be able to find it here. But it's 932. I don't know how many tokens in the higher levels here, like the 500, 600, 700s, 1,000s have this kind of much going on. I think a lot of people don't know about it. So that's why I wanted to share it. I'll definitely be buying more. And like I said, I think it's a hidden gem. So I do think My prediction is if Pepe gets back to all time high, this will get back to all time high. If we get a real bull run and things go ballistic, eyeball melting type stuff, and if and when, we don't know when that's coming. Maybe it's this year, maybe it's next year, maybe it's 3 years from now. It doesn't matter. I think we've kind of near a bottom with Wolf, and a lot of strong holders, a lot of diamond handed, a lot going on for a token of this size. Definitely want to make you aware of it. If you like this content, please give me a follow. Especially if you're on YouTube and Rumble, because I'm new to those platforms, and check this out. And feel free to check out my daily morning shows at 9 a.m. here on YouTube, Rumble, and live streaming on X, as well as my space, the GM Bitcoin Morning Show, every Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. We hit the market stuff, but it's a space, so can't share graphs and stuff like that. And if you want to communicate me, the best way is obviously on X, because I'm there all the time. And yeah, check it out. Let me know what you think. Definitely one to keep your eye on. Thanks for listening, and have a great day. Hopefully we get out of this crappy market and we can see some of these coins run. But thanks for listening. Appreciate you. And good luck.